just to give you a rough idea of what it's going to look like. Are we started yet?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yes, we are?
I wanted to get that.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is the old guy, retired now. I'm just going to give you a little demonstration of what the Phantom looks like and how I go about sketching it. There's a kind of a three-quarter shot of the Phantom. And I'll usually rough in an oval and separate about two-thirds of the way down, showing the suggestion of the eyes with a couple of triangles, and breaking it down from there. Get something a little thicker for you. That's better. The Phantom, in the early days, back in the 30s, had the style of the 30s, and it's quite an interesting character. He's one of the first, he was the first costume character to appear in comics at all. And through the years, different artists working on the Phantom. First, Ray Moore, and Wilson McCoy, and myself, and now George Olsen. Phantom has taken on a couple of different appearances, but there were some of my friends of the Phantom who feel it had its best day while I was doing it. I appreciate that. In fact, while I was doing it, the Phantom had most of his smiles. He was most content. And believe it or not, he got married. We thought the fans would be very disappointed when he got married, but he seems to even have a bigger smile since he got married. He's got a pair of twins. Got married back in 1978, I believe it was. Oh, 77 or 78. And so that puts it about 18 years he's married. And he's got twins. They're probably about age 10 or 11 now. Would you like a little more drama on this? Little shadows on this?
Sure.
All right.
So I don't forget the most important thing, your name.
Oh, I appreciate that. At my age, it's easy to forget that. Okay. speaking of, yeah, I can give you a side view.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll be on film for
In Newcastle.
The purple-clad spandex Phantom has been a hero for generations. The creator of the original comic book character Lee Falk celebrating his birthday today. Now the Phantom phenomenon is sweeping Newcastle. The character set to star in a new limited edition of Prince, being distributed by the Newcastle company 99.94 Editions. 21 artists from around the globe have been commissioned to come up with images of the Phantom from each of his 21 generations, including original comic book artists. Newcastle illustrator Bridget Hanson creating the first Prince series from an original large acrylic. One of the controversial changes to the Phantom, new 90s underwear instead of the traditional box pant design.
Well, they're supposed to be real people, and that's the whole story of the Phantom. And he was a little flat in different aspects of his anatomy, and I thought, well, if he's real, he's real.
The prints will be sold for $100 each. A Phantom convention is planned for Newcastle later in the year. Vanessa Trezise, Prime Local News.
Good morning, welcome to the Deep Woods. In fact, welcome to the Skull Cave. My name is Mr. Walker. I wish, not really. Just the same old me, I'm afraid, but a rather different start to the show today because our first guest this morning is none other than the longest-serving artist of Phantom Comics, Cy Barry, and he's in Australia. In fact, he's right here in Newcastle. Good morning, Cy. How are you?
Good morning.
This is one of the greatest honours of my life. Do you realise that?
Wonderful, wonderful pleasure for me too.
You're a man who goes back to the first days with Lee Falk and
Lee Falk,
the whole development of this legend that is the Phantom.
Right. The strip actually started back in 1936, and I began working on it in 1961.
Really? It started that long ago?
Right, 1936. And I was called in to just take over the artwork temporarily. One of the original artists was ill, and unfortunately he passed away. And then I took it over on a permanent basis.
Have you shared in the legend of the Phantom over the years?
I think I've lived it as I drew it. I practically lived it. I had to feel every threat that he was running through.
Did you have any idea that it was starting to develop such a cult following around the world where people like me would keep caps for 40-odd years?
Absolutely no idea. In fact, this is a revelation to me, this cap.
Oh, is it really?
But I began to see through, while working with King Features and working on the strip, that there were items that were being produced throughout the world, and either Phantom games, Phantom curios, and costumes, and so many things that were devoted to the Phantom, and I was just amazed by it.
Yeah, that's a good sign on top there.
That's right. The
And of course, if we turn it around,
exactly.
it says rough on Roughnecks.
That's
Because the
exactly
Phantom's a
what
good
Phantom,
guy.
Right.
He's a good guy. Now, you're in Australia on a special visit, and in fact, people like myself who are fanatical about the Phantom will have an opportunity to to meet you, and also to purchase some limited edition prints.
Prints, right. The prints will run a series of 21 prints, 21 paintings, and there'll be 400 prints to each painting that are being produced, limited edition prints that will be sold in Australia, representing 400 years of the Phantom lineage.
The generations
And
of the
then, right.
These are not all your paintings, though, are they?
No, my painting is Phantom number 6. And there were 2 other paintings that have been made, that have been done so far by 2 wonderful artists.
Now, I don't know whether I should say this, but this is the Phantom.
Yes,
And
that's him.
Those are the facial features
Exactly.
that I recognise, and I'm afraid some of the others don't quite look the same.
Okay,
It's a bit sacrilegious to me.
right. Are you talking about the 4 figures above?
No, I'm talking about the other pictures we were just looking at. The Phantom's features are not quite correct. That is the real Phantom
That's the real
that you've
Phantom.
drawn.
Yes,
Yeah.
the guy with the sunglasses was someone else.
Yeah, he has rather distinctive features, the Phantom, doesn't he?
He really does.
He really does. Now, people have the opportunity to purchase these. I believe that you're also in a position to sign memorabilia.
Personally signing them, and they'll be numbered. Each one will be
separately numbered.
Does it surprise you now that there are still people that are so interested in the Phantom and that follow the
Amazing.
Phantom's exploits so religiously?
I'm overwhelmed. I had no idea when I arrived here. I had been to the OzCon convention in Sydney, and the convention ran for 2 days, and it was incredible to see so many people lining up and waiting to have their books and what have you autographed. It was just incredible.
What did you think of the movie, the Phantom movie?
I loved it.
You liked
I
it?
thought it was great. I thought it was a great adventure.
Yeah.
Just a little disappointed with the villain, but
Yeah,
I love the special effects and
Yeah,
the
see,
atmosphere that was developed.
I'm afraid I'm still living in bygone days. I still like the Phantom that was involved with the Jungle Patrol
Yes,
and
right.
those
I
early
agree.
days.
Right.
And I'm still back there with Gurren
So
and the
am
rest
I.
of the.
Right.
Now,
Right.
if people would like to actually purchase some of these limited edition prints, you certainly can do that. And all you really need to do is contact 99.94 Editions, and that's a place here in Newcastle. The phone number we're going to put up on the screen, and you'll be able to ring to order those prints. And just remember that they are limited edition. There will only be a few of them around, and you need to get yours very quickly. I should turn my hat around here. Phantom Prints, 0249611637. And in fact, look out for that particular one by Cy Barry. Cy, once again, it's an honour
It's
and a
been an
privilege to
honour
meet
for
you.
me. A privilege.
Please enjoy the rest of your stay here
Right.
in Australia.
I have been so far.
And I hope that we
Delightful.
can give you something equally as memorable to take home with you. We'll be
Thank
back
you.
with more of Today Extra following a short break.
Okay. So in all the time that you were sketching Phantom, how personal did it become? How deeply involved with the character did you become?
Myself?
Yeah.
Well, I think Phantom kind of grew on me, and Phantom had really become a very strong part of my life. I was just lived and breathed it, became part of it. It dictated how much fun I would have in life and how much time I would spend on my own personal entertainment. It dictated the time available to me for my family, and so much of my life was devoted to the Phantom. So many hours of the day was devoted to Phantom. It just became part of me.
So what was that like?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I felt like I had another personality. Every time I got down to the drawing board, I took on another personality. Almost like I was living with the Phantom.
So how long does it take to sketch a good Phantom?
Well, to do a daily, I'd say about half a day. I do about 2 dailies a day, and Sunday would take about anywhere from a day and a half to 2 days, Sunday page.
So how do you see that the Phantom has developed over time?
I'd say that it has maintained most of its character and structure from back in the 30s when it first started. It's kept that the kind of character that Lee Falk had devised was a character that could be untainted and never blemished. It was a kind of character that children looked up to, the perfect hero type. And I think the fact that he's been uncorrupted through all these years gives each generation that reads the strip sees this as a character of stability, someone that they could look up to.
So do you think that stability is a big part of the popularity of the Phantom in the United States and Australia?
I would say so. I think that's what I think it's become a symbol of stability, and it's never changed. So every new generation begins to see the same strong, unblemished kind of character. And I think we need that. We need that in society. We see so many things going wrong, so many areas of our culture being destroyed or marred and we need to have some kind of image or figure that would at least hold on to some kind of sobriety in this society.
So I suppose you can imagine the Phantom going quite strongly for another 50 years?
Oh, I would say so, surely. And not only because of the strong, unblemished character that he represents, but I think also because of the kind of strip it is. It's not only an adventure hero. Incidentally, he happened to have been the first costume figure hero that was ever devised. Superman and Batman came after the Phantom. Not only the fact that he was a hero and not necessarily a superhero, but also because it was a fantasy strip. It dealt with this magic land that he lived in Bengala, in his skull cave, and the wonderful parts of his domain, such as the Whispering Grove and the Isle of Eden and the beach of Kilauea. All of these places are kind of Shangri-Las, and I think this kind of fantasy is an escape for the reader. I think that's what maintained as a popular strip.
So you've already spoken a bit about the essential elements of the Phantom, but who do you think the Phantom really is? Like, how can you describe the character?
I'm trying to think of what Lee Falk may have been thinking when he first created the strip. I'm trying to think of who he may have used as the character that the Phantom would represent, or the individual that the Phantom would represent. I think he represents a multiple area of individuals and stories and legends